and welcome to my presentation. I will be starting in just a few moments. Thank you for joining me. Let me share my screen. Yate and Guatsi, and welcome to the first episode of Modern Native News, special edition Indigenous Peoples Day 2021. I'm your host, Markel Dela Cruz, and I'm coming from the Navajo, Diné, and Laguna of Pueblo tribes. My clans are Kia'ani and Turkey clans. Today's episode is brought to you today by Merritt College. Thank you, Merritt College, for inviting me to speak. And by our friends at Merritt College ISU, Intertribal Student Union. Thank you so much for having me. On October 8th, President Biden signed a proclamation recognizing October 11th as Indigenous Peoples Day. I'm coming to you live from the studios at Modern Native News to share with you the very first national celebrated Indigenous Peoples Day. Thank you for joining us for this special episode. The very first Indigenous Peoples Day was actually celebrated in South Dakota. And historically, Indigenous Peoples Day was celebrated as Columbus Day. And in 1989, the first Indigenous Peoples Days was adopted. And at that time, they called it Native American Day. Biden now joins the growing number of states and municipalities making the change. And as you can see, there are 13 states that are now celebrating Indigenous Peoples Day. In other news, 19-year-old Quanah Chasing Horse attended the 2021 Met Gala. A member of the Han Gwich'in and Oglala tribes, this young model donned a Peter Dundas gown and accessorized the look with Navajo jewelry, paying homage to her childhood, having been partially raised on the Navajo Nation. When she's not busy walking the runways, she spends her time protecting the Arctic refuge. You go, girl. In other news, Indigenous-owned beauty brand Cheekbone is now being sold at America's popular beauty store, Sephora. Company owner Jen Harper says joining the incredible platform allows us to further amplify our missions to create spaces of representation within the beauty industry for Indigenous youth. All right, Jen. September 30th, Native country and allies honored the victims of residential schools. The remains of 6,509 children have been found. Congress introduced a bill for the Truth and Healing Commission. Some say that bill is too little too late, as thousands mourn the death toll climbs. Many families demand the names be released, yet not a single arrest has been made, nor a suspect has been charged. Ironically, a Catholic school board thought it would be a good idea to join in on the Orange Shirt Day, donating just $1 of every shirt sold. The nerve, the audacity. In local news, 172 acres of stolen land was returned to California tribes. Sherwood Valley Band of Pomo Indians, Round Valley Band of Indian Tribes, Coyote Valley Band of Pomo Indians were all listed as part of a California landowner's attempt to make things right, returning his family farm land back to its original inhabitants. In world news, water protectors are at it again. Joining the fight against big oil is writer, activist, economist, a Harvard-educated and former vice presidential candidate from the Anishinaabe Nation, Winona LaDuke. Winona says it's like an occupation. You know, they come in here and they are shoving a pipeline down our throats. Creator, look over the water protectors and those protecting our land and our minerals and our spirits. So let's watch over them and pray for them. Missing and murdered Indigenous women just concluded a 2-year report saying extractive industry camps that build these pipelines are epicenters of violence. And I can attest to these man camps. They are stealing our sisters. Our women are being hunted and they're being used as sex slaves. And these man camps are coming up all over the reservation where these pipelines are being built. So not only is the pipeline bad for the environment, these man camps are putting our women and our children in danger. And that report just came from MMIW. Thank you, MMIW. The National Center for Educational Statistics released a study showing rising rates of persistence in higher education Native students. As a nation, we need to do a better job of supporting our students on pathways to higher education for their sustainability. With so many barriers, we need additional support to help our future leaders. These are some of the barriers that our students face from day to day. We experience generally more violence, and we have much more mental health going on in our communities, and we have a stigma around getting treatment. So if you are a student, I employ you to go out and get the services that you need. IHS, the American Indian Health Center in Oakland and in San Francisco are local places that you can get the help that you need. Let's support our students with these barriers. And in online news, we have the American Indian Film Festival happening this year virtually. They did survive the pandemic. And kudos to the director of the American Indian Film Festival, Mattia Spencer. She is making it all happen right now live. And the virtual link is right here, https://watch event by eventive.org, AIFF46. That is the link. And you can actually, it's clickable. So it's a hyperlink attached to that. And I implore you guys all, there is something for everyone. There is children's animation, there is an LGBTQ category this year, and so many films that actually share what's really going on in Indian country. So I wanted to take that time to let you guys know that that is going on between November 5th through the 13th, 2021. At this time, I'd like to give a special thanks to Doris Hankins, Merritt College, the Intertribal Student Union, Yerba Buena Gardens for the photo. And this was produced by ANA Event Planning. A special thanks to all of the Indigenous people to continue to thrive regardless of the struggles that we survive. And join me the next time for the Racial Inequity series on November 16th, where we will be doing a panel. And hopefully I will be able to send out the flyer for that a little earlier. So thank you. This is Markel Dela Cruz signing off. Thanks for joining me.